So the first thing I want to say, well, first, welcome everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining. I hope everyone is in the middle of doing qualitative or planning on doing qualitative. Obviously, rich way of understanding what's happening with folks around particular topics. So I just want to say to begin with too that the way that you enter in data really makes a big difference. So the typical protocol is that I have 10 people and I have 10 semi-structured interviews and I interrupt those 10 interviews. But there are other ways of doing it. You can do it by research question or study aim. Just yesterday, Dal's got, 10 semi-structured interview questions. A few of them deal with research question 1, a few of them with RQ2, and a few of them. So you can divide up your interviews, okay? So you can just create different projects based on your research question. You're going to really confine what the AI is doing and keep your own brain straight around here are questions, interview questions, and research questions, and interviewee responses based on those, okay, around that research question. So just to know that the way you put in the data, that's half of a trick, by the way. But just to know that there's different modes of doing it. And I guess the headline would be, the grainier you put it in, the better, or the more projects, the better. All right, I guess we're moving right into login. I said it was going to be quick with the PowerPoints. So go ahead and get logged in. If you would, if you have questions, please put that into the Q&A. And either Samantha, Ashley, or Melissa will assist. Okay. So, okay, while that's happening, so let me just walk through the inductive best practice, inductive coding. So basically, there's a few steps that I'll go through prior to getting to your project. So the first is really to kind of just upload your data. As I mentioned, you can upload it in several ways. You can also upload audio or video files, and for a quarter a minute, it transcribes it and puts it right in. Absolutely have to read and reread your transcripts. Even if you've done the interviews, it's worth going back through them. If you've not done them and you have some secondary source, you need to know what those are, what that data is speaking to. Why? Because when the AI is assisting you with codes and themes, you don't know if it's correct or not, okay? So you have to have that knowledge, all right? So know your data, even though you're using AI. Okay? I'll show you how it generates, how the tool then generates codes via inductive. What does that mean? Well, what that means is when you upload your transcripts, what the tool is going to do is it's going to identify important excerpts, one. It's going to combine them together, okay? And then create a code name and code description for those set of excerpts. Inductive coding, so we don't have codes. There's also deductive coding if you have a priori codes, but at the moment, inductive. Then after the AI buckets your excerpts, creates a code name and a code description, you need to vet those or refine those. Absolutely, okay? They all have to make sense together. And as Judge Judy says, if they don't make sense, they're not true. All right, so it has to look and feel right that these codes and these excerpts all kind of go together. All right. There's the next process of generating themes. This is really answering a few questions. Which codes go together? Okay. And then what is the theme name and theme description? Okay. That's happening in this thematizing functionality. Then there's a refining of themes. Okay, so that's it. That should happen. I'll say the third piece, but there's really four pieces, but the third piece is the now aligning your research questions with the themes. That is to say, you have a research question or a study aim, all right? How does that theme help address that question? The themes and the interview questions, right, are all trying to get at those study aims. So there's alignment there. But in particular, how do the themes that emerged align with your research questions? What the tool does is it not only aligns them, but also provides a rationale for why they're aligned. This theme helps examine that research question by blah, blah, blah. And I'll show you. Before the download, I'll just say that there's a few other things going on here. We have an easy way to do inter-rater reliability. We have nice visualizations, kind of looking at codes and themes with participants and number of excerpts. There's a nice visualization for that. And then everything downloads into a Word document. I will not go through the deductive, and I will not go to Q&A at the moment. But I will get to the tool. So let me make sure I'm signed into the right place here. I am. Okay. All righty. So, one thing we don't have is a date stamp here. So I don't know. So let me just do a broad sweep first of this thing, what I just spoke about, and then we'll get into individual projects. Right? So if you're logged in, you can follow along. You can create a project. You can upload if you have some interviews. Okay, you can upload those there. For those that do not, so by the way, so let's just go there. So you can name a project, okay, and then add research questions, okay, all right, and then create a project. And at that point, you can upload your files, all right. That's option one. But you can also, for those that don't have qualitative data ready at hand, you can create project, go to sample project, and just go to transcripts only. Okay. All right. So, and at that point, we have 4 transcripts in this. So I'll give everyone a moment to kind of do that. Either upload your own, okay, or use an example. Right? And I believe everyone's monitoring the Q&A as well. Q&A, I'll get that open for myself. Okay. Thank you for that. I'm not sure how to say your name. So we don't, we won't be sharing any videos, but I would definitely put closed caption. Thank you. Okay. So once we have the data in, step 1's done. All right. Now let's get into the AI business. So under the AI tools, this is my inductive coding. So just to reiterate, it's now finding important excerpts, okay, combining important excerpts, and then generating a suggested code name and code description. When you get to the results, really the themes are what matters. So sometimes these things generate lots of codes. I've seen 100 codes. It's too many, okay? Don't get caught up in that. So the codes are there to kind of say, these codes are going to generate some or point to some common theme, okay? So in this process, 25 codes were identified, comprising 64 excerpts. And if I hit apply to project, all right, you can see the codes over here, all right? And you can go into the three dots, okay, over here and go to details. This is that refining process. You have to make sure that that code name makes sense, okay, with regard to your interview questions. The code description makes sense, and that these excerpts seem to go together, okay, to exemplify that code. That should be done for each and every code, all right? I should also mention you could add codes not only via AI, but also by adding codes, and you can do that manually with AI Assist. There's videos on that, but just to share that that can happen. All right. Can also generate themes via AI, all right? And again, this is how many themes really capture those 25 or 26 codes. It says 12, and you can edit this thing, all right? And make it more or less, all right? And then apply to projects. So what we've just done is that we've now added these themes, okay? AI-driven marketing evolution. And you can see the codes that are subsumed by that, right? And then just as we did for the codes, you want to go into the themes, into those three dots details, okay? And you want to make sure that that theme name and theme description, okay? And perhaps those codes all go together, okay? So it's got to all make sense. These excerpts seem like they could generate this code. These codes seem to go together to make this theme. Here's my overarching theme. Okay, that's the nature of what's happening here. Just like we had AI themes, you could also add themes manually. I won't get into it, but know that there's a manual, okay, theme name, theme description, and AI assisted with themes. So that's also manual and hybrid versions as well. All righty. Let's go into the insights document. So I'm moving over tabs. Let me just briefly say, the memos is kind of documenting some things along the way, as well as taking any memos that you've added. Okay, so manual memos, some AI memos, okay, what's happening. Excerpts, you can see all the excerpts here with codes and themes. This is downloadable. But where I was trying to get to is the insights. And the insights has got a few important things. One important thing is the bar charts. So at the theme level, here are the themes. Here are the 4 interviews. Here's the representativeness of the interviews and how many excerpts are there. So this first interview, marketing strategies number 1, contributed to this first theme, and it contributed 2 excerpts. Marketing strategies number 2, interview, contributed 5 excerpts, and so forth, okay? And what you want is, in my view, is you want themes that are well represented of the interviews and have several examples of that, okay? Conversely, I'm less inclined, although there's needles in haystacks that are worthy of discussion, but in general, okay, I'm less inclined to have a theme that only one person endorsed with 2 excerpts. So, quick visual there. By the way, you can look at that with code occurrences as well, all right? Less crazy about, and this is AI generated interviews, so that they're not the best either. Less interested in where there's just one, okay, just one interviewee, okay, that are contributing to these codes. So less crazy about that. Okay. I've uploaded research questions, okay, and I've uploaded a few of these research questions. How do businesses manage the challenge of scaling operations while maintaining service and attention, and so forth. So you can endorse all of these themes, but you can use AI to say which themes in particular, okay, those four, which themes in particular help address that research question. So the research question, that's really research question theme rationale, okay? The AI has suggested that those four themes help address that. I could submit that. And what we have is the research question, okay? The first theme, and then this is the rationale for why that theme goes with that research question. The theme of cultural sustainability during growth addresses how businesses maintain their essential character while scaling by showing that successful companies deliberately cultivate their organizational culture as they expand. Okay, so we're talking about sustaining during growth. The research question is talking about scaling. Okay, that's growth, and so forth. So the first part of your results chapter, in my view, is as the research question, which themes are aligned with it? Okay, and why? What the rationale? The next thing I want to do is go into each of those themes. So cultural sustainability during growth, I want to go to the theme description now, all right? And that's the first theme. And then you want to select some representative excerpts. I suggest checking all, okay? And getting the theme, getting the vetted description of the theme, okay? And then the excerpts, I say put them all in there, select 3 to 5 of them. You don't need, sometimes there's, 50 of them, okay? You don't need that. No one wants to read that. So you want to have the 3 to 5 ones that really fit, but I say print them all, and it's easy to just delete them, okay? So that's just one way to do that. All right. The other thing I want to just so what did we just let's just do one more thing. Under the under the three, so I'm at the projects level, okay, and under the 3 dots, okay, there's a reliability tool, okay, which allows you to send your themes and your excerpts to other raters to rate them. All right, and then what's going to occur is when your raters rate them, if I go to insights, you'll have for each pair of raters, okay, here it's Marlon and Melissa. For each pair of raters, you'll have the themes, and then you'll have the kappa and the qualitative description of that kappa. Okay. And then if you had 3 or more raters, it's going to give you that overall. All right. So an easy way to do inter-rater reliability. So let's just so let me just recap, and then I'm going to answer some of this Q&A. So to recap, we created a project, okay, all right, by naming it and then uploading. Okay, so fun 2, all right, and uploading data, all right, or we use an example data set, okay, sample data set, and we got data in, okay. After we got data in, we really can look at coding and excerpting via the AI tool, or via inductive coding. And I also highlighted that there's also a manual and a hybrid way to add codes. We then moved on to thematizing, where we can have the AI identify which codes go together and naming that theme and describing that theme. And is also a manual and an AI way of doing that. Okay. We also went to the insights to just give a quick visual about what's going on with representativeness for each theme, what the representativeness is among the interviewees, okay, and the number of excerpts they contributed. We also then did a dive into how the theme and the research questions can be linked together, with the rationale. Okay. And then also do a deep dive into the themes related to those research questions, okay? All right. And then finally, I just shared briefly how you can use the reliability tool to have cleaned up excerpts and themes, so then you can assess the integrated reliability. Basically, that, just to add one other thought there, is that the idea is that I can find a theme and I can find excerpts that support that theme, but can other people? That's the key. You don't want to work in isolation. You want to be able to have other people also read a passage or hear something, okay, and say, ah, that's that theme that's being referred to. So that's the idea here. Okay. So with all of that being said, where is the reliability tool? So again, it's under the projects and under the three dots to the right, and you can see the reliability tool. Okay. All righty. So Melissa, let me just update this, refresh this. Okay, so I have one. This
Yep.
may be old though. Did
You
anyone
can,
share projects or?
that one's from today. Chi, can you raise your hand, please? There we go, and I'll unmute you.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Hi, Ken here.
Hi, Jim, I'm so sorry. I shared the project last minute, so that's why it's kind of pending your acceptance.
No, this is good. No problem.
Thank you. So before you open, I don't want to waste everyone's time. Before you open it, so let me explain my question and see, if there's something feasible. So first of all, thank you for, introducing how this program works. It looks like this is more suitable for a qualitative project that is based on interview. However, right now I'm on a project that is a content analysis. So I don't really have an interview transcript. Instead, I have all the data in a spreadsheet with different column, different rows. So to give you an example, let's say my project look at the faculty job requirements in counseling profession. So specifically, my research questions are: what are the degree requirement, what are the research requirement, and also teaching and also service requirements. So those are my research questions, right? And I collected all the data from online faculty job posts. So in other words, in my Excel spreadsheet, I have different columns. For each column, I have data for degree, for teaching, for research, for service. And on the rows, I have different university because I collect those information from, each university's job posts. So right now, with this data set, I want to look at some, of course, my themes are already clear, probably, 5 themes, one on degree, one on research, one on teaching, one on service. However, I want to use, because I have 10 years of data, that's a lot to, code myself. So I want to use Intellectus to do the coding, but I tried several times. The program, sorry, the program wouldn't let me upload file in Excel spreadsheet format. I only take PDF I think Word
Yeah.
document. Yeah. So I
So
just,
do me, yeah, so do me a favor and send me that Excel file if you're willing to share that. First of all, 10 years of data. What are you doing?
yes,
What are you doing? What do you care about what's going on in 2015? I mean, maybe that's a trend. Okay, but all right, leave it as it is. It just seems like a lot, right? So
or we can just use 1 year. I just want to kind of learn,
that's the start. So
Yeah.
so I can tell you about it, but I can also show you. But if you want
Yes.
to email me that Excel file or part of that,
Yes.
all right. So this really gets back to the very evidently the only slide I really had, which was how the data is inputted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So but if you email that to me, I'll show you how I parse that data because it really is important how that data is put in, and this is a use case for that. Okay.
Yes, I just sent it to you.
All right. Fine.
Thank you.
Yep. My pleasure. So let's see if this comes through. So. And is it Kai or Chi? How do I say your name?
Chi.
Chi. Okay.
Sorry, I've been here every week.
Ah, thank you. You're a dedicated person.
Definitely, I'm dedicated to learn how this program works.
Well, and I'm happy to show you how I would approach this because
Awesome.
as it turns out, the tool's pretty easy. Okay, very easy. But I
Mhm.
think it does take a strategy of inputting that data. Here we go. So here's how I would do it. So, okay, perfect. So I would do this, and I'm not sure that this needs to be done, but this is how I would do it. All right, so I would do this. So I would do this. So I would put in, I would make a new column, okay? All right, and I would put in this question, okay? Control C and Control V, okay? And I would say, all right, and I would ask the question the whole time, okay? Well, let's see how this goes. What is the physician's teaching requirements? Okay. Then I would, if you double click this here, okay, it fills it out. Then I would just copy this whole thing here. Okay. All right. So, this is obviously, we're going to try this. Let's see if I learn how to copy correctly though. Then I'd create a project name, new project, and she, okay. So we, and then we know what the question is, okay, so. What are the teaching requirements, right? Teaching position. POSITION, hopefully that's, no. Position, okay. All right, so that's the nature of it. So then I would just go to blank transcripts, for example, begin editing, and then let's just see if we can paste it in there. So begin editing, Control V. Okay, so now I have some data in here and go to save. All right. Now I would go to AI tools and just to see what happens here. Okay. So I like to have the question next to each one. It might be sufficient to have it in one, but since it's just a click, now I have the question, this question, this, and we know enough about teaching, okay, that we'll know if these codes make sense or if this is just not so great. Very exciting to see what happens here. All right, so what we're going to find out. Okay, so it's found 6 codes, 142 excerpts. Let's see what those codes look like. ABD consideration, K-CRAP accreditation, diversity and technology competence, degree specialized experience teaching experience. Okay, that seems kind of relevant. Yeah?
Yes.
Right? So in pretty short order, okay? So we'll want to go through this ABD consideration, right? You'll go into each one of these things and into the details, okay? And ABD provisions for candidates who are all but dissertation with specified completion requirements. So you want to look at those. So just quick and dirty, we have a few codes here, all right? Now I can make a theme, and I think with 6 codes, I can come up with some themes here. Comes up with 3 themes, apply to projects. Okay, and then you'll see the theme here. Okay, academic professional qualifications for counselor education. Okay. Accommodation for ABD status, K-CREP accreditation. Then you can go to insights, all right? And you can go to research question rationale. You only have one research question. I would just select all of them, obviously. You only have a few of them. And look to see how those themes address that. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but why not look at that rationale, right? Research, what are the teaching position requirements? The theme of accreditation reveals that hiring institutions place significant value on standardized credentials in the counseling profession and so forth. All right. And then I would do a deep dive into each theme. Okay. For each theme, again, I would check all of these things and just select the ones that seem important. Okay. Go to the next theme. Okay. And check all, and then just delete the ones that are, well, the ones that are duplicate, you don't want to do that. Okay, and then the final one. Okay. And again, delete. And then I also, okay, so let me come back to you. So questions about this?
I think this is very powerful. I'm definitely, amazed at how, how it can make the coding process easier, because this will take me forever. But a question I have is, for instance, now this is year 2014, right? Just use as an example. We were able to generate some themes. Under the theme, we have some codes. Let's say I have that code book already. But I also have other year. Let's say I have 2015 year raw data. So can I use the code book generated from this year and apply that code book to the 2015 data, and also ask the program to see, if newer codes or newer themes will come out?
I would, so several pieces. So just to take a step back, I would have a project for every job requirement. One for degree.
Okay.
I would have one for service, one for research, one for teaching. 4 projects or 5 projects. Right?
I see.
Would have all of the different data here, okay, by year. I would add transcripts. This would be titled, okay, all right. Hang on a second here. This would be titled, if I can title this thing, rename. Okay, this is going to be titled, teaching, okay, 2014. All right, and then I would submit the other ones. So when you see the excerpts, all right, you'll know is it from 2014 to 2015 or whatever. So that's plan A. Okay, 5 different projects, different years of teaching. 2014 teaching data, 2015 teaching. Strategy 1. Strategy 2 is, guess what? I'm going to have, it goes back to my 10-year, quip, which is, okay, can I come up with themes teaching 2014, and are they the same themes that I have for 2025 teaching, right? And compare them, right? So, and in those cases, you're going to have teaching over 10 years. So I'm saying it's a lot. Maybe just do 3 years, 2015, 2020, 2025. Then you're going to have, if you did 3 projects for teaching, I mean, it's pretty quick. Then you're going to have some data here, okay? And frankly, I would probably make 3 columns, all right, for 3 years. And I would say, here's where similar themes across these 3 years, similar themes across 2 of the years, unique theme, in 1 year and not the other 2 years. So that's how I would approach this, okay?
I see. That's a great way to handle it.
It doesn't hurt, it's quick. I mean, in a few hours, you can probably get several years across these 5 things and have some documents brewing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
By by taking this information, and I'm gonna paste all of those themes, okay? Those 3 themes in there. My sense is you're gonna have similar themes. I mean, you cannot imagine that ABD status has not gone away, that accreditation has not gone away, okay? And the qualification, you know, these just seem like natural things, but but perhaps something has changed, like things lightened up during COVID, and you know, the accreditation perhaps was less important since everybody's online. So I don't know, but all right. I hope that helped. One last thing. So, and it highlights one last thing. So here I can now give this project back to you. Wait a second. Where's my what did I call this thing?
I think call it by my name, Chi.
Is it okay? So okay, I didn't know if that was okay, great. So now I get to transfer this whole thing to you. Okay. And then you can just accept it, and then you own it, okay?
Oh, cool.
All right, so that's a nice thing for other faculty out there. You can transfer things back and forth. You can share, so you can work on this thing serially, or if you want to work together, you know, get on a Zoom call together and, okay. All right.
So the difference between share and transfer is when you do transfer, it looks like
It
both.
goes to you. You own it. And you
Oh, I
choose to
see.
share it whoever you'd like, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, those are all my questions. I don't want to take too much of the time, but thank you so much for, explanation and show me the different steps.
And how did you work your way here? Are you student or faculty?
Yes, I'm a faculty member.
Got it. And how did you make your way here? We emailed you or something?
No, I adopted the quantitative program in my classes, so I teach stats in my program.
Right, and look at you spreading your wings out into qualitative.
Yeah, because I want my student to use it not only in the quantitative class, I also want them to use in the qualitative class. But none of the faculty or my colleagues know about this program, so I'm just volunteer myself trying to
Yeah.
use the project to learn how this program works.
Thank you for your interest. Please keep sharing it, and you make me want to at least tell other folks. Guess what, guys? There's also a quantitative tool, as Chi just mentioned, which I don't know if this is a good data set, which also has an AI feel in terms of you know, easily conducting tests, and then the write-ups are in plain English, APA tables and plots. So just to put that plug in, it has an AI summary as well. So there's a quant. So we have the qual tool, we have the quant tool, we have courseware for the quant and qual, and we have a lit review app coming out. You know, my preference any day now, but the reality is probably, you know, a couple of months out. Okay, other questions here, other projects. Do I have anybody else? Right here, Penny, so you'll accept that. Okay, I don't see any others here. Maybe time for questions. Can you redirect me to where to generate themes? So yes, so under, hopefully these have something in here. Okay, well, that's something different. So how do you get to themes? So what you can do is you can go on all under the AI tools, okay? And then under here, you can have the AI coding or thematizing. That's the AI version of it, but you can also add themes manually here as well. So under AI tools, or add themes, okay? All right.
Nancy that asked that question had had more of a question, so you can unmute Nancy if you want to expand on your question.
Yeah, thank you. I did find out how to do that. Thank you very much. My question is more about cleaning up my data, which is not in good form yet, but otherwise I'd share it with you, but it's pretty messy. In order to,
I appreciate you not sharing it with me.
yes, it's not ready. But if you were to identify we have several different interviews, different focus groups, and we're trying to figure out how to put all the data together. So you identify each interviewee by number, and the system will separate that for you, or how do you clean that up?
Tricky. I don't have a great answer for you. I mean,
Okay.
you can put, you can put kind of brute force focus group by focus group in there, let the excerpts go, and then backtrack and say, because it's likely not going to grab, participant 1 with that, or interviewee 1 or interviewee 6, okay? So the only way to really do it would be to go back after the fact, after you kind of clean up your excerpts, codes, and themes. And then you have these excerpts, and you can say, okay, let me go do a search for that. And by the way, you should only, in my view, have 3 to 5 excerpts per theme. So say you have 10 themes, you have 30 excerpts to go find in there and identify Joe, Sally, whoever did it, okay? But there's not a clean way of doing that because the AI is not picking that up.
Okay.
Well, maybe say there's a better way of doing that. Hang on, without the search. You can, when you're here, and let's just say you have this excerpt here. So details, my apologies. When you have, so when you let the AI do its work, get into the codes, go into the 3 dots details. And when you get to the excerpts, you can go to the go-to and then expand it beyond to add their participant name. That's the way to do it.
Or number.
Pardon?
Or number. We don't really need
Or
names.
number, or no, whatever. Right. Pseudonym, number, name, whatever. Right.
Okay.
So that would be the way to do it. Okay. So for the excerpts of interest, that's one way to do that, which is great. Again, going into details, going to the go-to, and then using that handle. Okay. Assuming that these excerpts have their pseudonym or whatever underneath it. Okay. And just expanding it out. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions, Nancy?
Well, no, I'm just getting started. I'm sure I'll have others, but do you have additional sessions of these? This
We
is my
do these once a month, and Melissa will be, Melissa, do you want to share when that is? Since the
Yeah,
question.
the qualitative session is every second Thursday of the month. And when we send out this recording, we include links to all of our monthly sessions. You can register again.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
Our pleasure, and I hope it forwards you in your process. So
Yes.
cool. And how did you make your way to us, Nancy? I should ask that question since you're here.
Yeah, I got an email. It may not be the first one I've gotten, but it's the first one I've jumped on. And I'm a retired faculty, but we're working on a qualitative self-assessment tool that we hope to at some point publish. So it's a
All
long
right.
thing.
And what was different about this email that jumped out that said, oh, now I have to go? Oh, you had seen it before. Was there something about it that caught your attention?
Because we're really ready we have so much data, we have to figure out how to do it. And I've done some qualitative work in the past, but I'm really intrigued by the AI support because I've always done it by hand, and that's a really laborious process.
You and me both. You and me both. I mean, I told the story, I was 2-year dissertation, but a year of qualitative thematizing at my kitchen table, and I dragged in 3 colleagues. And for a full year, we went through, you can tell the trauma is still there. For a full year, really, and when, and maybe some things need to be done by hand. I don't know, but anecdotally, it does seem like this AI is picking up about 75%. So of what, when I see people who are doing by hand and by AI, it seems like there's, you know, nice convergence going on. And the report is, and AI picks up some more that the individuals did not. So yeah, it's a time saver. I mean, we've analyzed 500 pages in 10 minutes. You know, it would just take months on end to really do that. So I am glad we sent the other email. Please share with other colleagues too. Thanks for joining. And come back
Thank
to
you.
questions. Yeah, a pleasure. All right, other questions? Other questions, other projects?
We do have some in the Q&A.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm into the chat. That's my problem. Go to the Q&A. Okay. I'm doing a lit review. How do you find themes in a publication? Marion, you just wait for our lit review app to come out, and it will help with the summarization there. And I see Melissa's responding to you. All right, Dana, I have a question about reporting your methods when you use AI. How do I describe the use of AI in the coding and analysis in the methods section, in the manuscript, the integrity concerns with this? Well, as my PowerPoint, so you can cite the tool Intellectus Qualitative, and that citation, by the way, when you if I could open this, when you download this, okay, you'll have the Intellectus citation, okay, at the end of this thing. All right, so you'll have the citation there. But the other thing is, to me, it's the human part is the driver. Okay, these things are not being. Let's see if I can get this. As I said in the beginning here, there's always that refinement, right? So, as with any AI, the human is doing that editing. That human is doing that vetting of the whole shebang. Excerpts, codes, themes, descriptions, rationales. So there's always that refining thing. So the fact that you had suggestions is what I would call them, okay? That you're in the driver's seat. So I don't know if I'd be saying, well, you know, AI was involved. No, you're the driver. So I think that's how I would respond to that, Dana. And did it with the integrity. I mean, lots of ways to interpret integrity, but let's call it the integrity of the data. Again, you're refining that. Okay. Other questions? There's more here, Q&A. Okay. All right, so I think so let me just, so we've answered questions. So just to say that if you're a student, you can schedule a consultation for me. That's a fee-based consultation. If you're a faculty, happy to help, you know, spend a little time with you to kind of get you acclimated to the tool. Samantha can help also with student support, Ashley with faculty support, Melissa for general questions or speaking engagements. And then there's our phone number, and then some websites to the Quant Tool, the Qual Tool, the Quant Tool, and then Statistic Solutions is just a long-standing website that's got a lot of quant information. Okay. All right, final thoughts or questions? Melissa, do you have anything to wrap up?
Yeah, just to tell everyone, we're going to email the recording. There'll be links to the other workshops, and please feel free to share it.
Perfect. Terrific. Thank you all so much for your attention. I wish you a great rest of the week, and we'll see you back here next time. All righty. Bye-bye all.